Hey, everybody, it's Miriam here. And I brought some playing cards along today to play with. No, we're not going to play poker. Let's see. I don't know how many cards. This isn't a 5-card draw, obviously, but out of all these cards, I have 2 pair. That's about it. Yup. Unless they're seeing something I'm not. I don't think I am. Anyway, that was a lovely distraction there. Today I'm going to alter playing cards, and I'm going to be using items from the kitchen that I have reserved and copy dyed, and a couple of them you might be slightly surprised about. We'll just go with it and see what we get done. I have my glue stick, and I have my what I call my Mod Podge. It's watered down PVA glue that can be used to put on things. I added some more white PVA glue because it seemed a little runny last time I used it, but we'll see. I also have my glue stick. I brought along my mini sander and my mini inking brush or dauber. Why do I call it a brush? I don't know. I also have, here's my bigger inker in the event that we need it, and my vintage photo distressing. I have a pair of scissors because you could tear part of these, but some of them would be very difficult to tear. So I got scissors, and I think I'm just going to lay a couple playing cards out. This is a very simple process, and like I said, you could use your glue stick or use some form of Mod Podge. I always thought it was Mod Podge when I was younger. Alright, so what I'm going to do first to help things kind of stick a bit, I'm going to reach for one of my little sanders, and I'm going to sand the surfaces of these a bit. This is just one of those little Tim Holtz steel things, and I put it on top of this little wooden thing that I was in a bunch of craft stuff. I suppose it's used to make something, and I'm just gonna see how it's starting to take the surface off there. We don't have to do this a lot. Just enough so that things will stick. I'm going to do my edges good. And go from there. There's a little something on my card. Wonder if you'll sand off. It is. Don't know what it is, but we're taking it off there. And now I don't think it'll show through our stuff. Flip it over, do the other side. And I'll do 2 of these before I get out some of my stuff. You can see it laying over here on the right. You probably guess what some of it is once you see it. However, they don't come in these colors. These things I have laid aside here are things that I have copy dyed to use in projects. And I wanted to show you one way that you could use all these things. Another mark on there. We'll see if it sands off very easily. Might not. We can try though. And I got my glass mat down, which is not, you're supposed to be able to cut on it, so I don't think I have to worry about the sandpaper scratching it if I accidentally slide off here. I don't think it'll be a big deal. Alright, I think that'll cover okay. It's not going, you still see a little bit of it, but I think that will be okay. Finish sanding off my card here. Just trying to hit the whole surface, because I like the numbers and the little diamonds and hearts showing through. First thing we're going to use is a coffee dyed tea bag. These are some of them that I spritzed and sprayed on when I did my spritz and spray videos, and I thought it would look super duper cool to put on these. So my thinking is, if we put them close together, perhaps it'll be wide enough to do both of them. Just barely. Look at that. All right. Do I want to pull this piece off the edge here? It's where they glued the tea bag together. I kind of like that torn edge look. They're going to be sanded anyway, so I guess the torn edge look won't hardly show. However, I'm trying to decide which one I want to use. All right, you guys scream really loud which one you think I should use, glue stick or Mod Podge, and let me know. Mod Podge has to dry, glue stick does not. However, Mod Podge might make the tea bag a little more transparent. So, let's do the glue, Mod Podge. And maybe these two will be dry before the end of the video, doing them first. I'm not going to use Mod Podge on all today. Okay. So let's get some glue down on our cards and see which direction I want this to go on the card. That way? That has more of the grayish patterns on there, so it's going to go on. That's going to be the upside. All right. So I'm just going to get my, open it first, Miriam. Glue down on the thing here. The card. I keep up with my own thing. See, there we go. Still slightly on the runny side, but that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. And I just got a cloth here that I laid in my lap, and I'm going to just use it to spread my glue right now. Yep, just like this. The excess on my cloth I'll use on my other card. I got to pick that up there. I got a little bit, way too much. And when you put your liquid glue down on these, if you're using it, it will warp your card slightly, but if you lay them under something, at some point, it should be just fine. Okay, that's putting glue down on that. Make sure it's all covered. And wipe my hands with a clean piece of cloth here. Okay. We laid the tea bag piece over there with the top up. So let's put these close together again. And bring in our piece of tea bag. And get it down on top of these. Then we can burnish them and really get them into that. I'm just going to use my fingers and spread them out. I do that with all these things. Ink's not coming off on my fingers like it did with the phone book journal. Rub your fingers across that old phone book and that ink just came right off on my fingers. Which gave me an idea. It's very thin paper. I'm going to use the rest of my phone book pages to collage it on top of. It would make perfect for collaging. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut these two apart so that they will be easier to maneuver when I want to lay them aside to dry. So let's just cut through the tea bag here in the center. And it might, if I'm careful, you can rip tea bag. What did I do here? I didn't have enough glue on that edge and it popped right up. It's a good thing I cut it apart. There it is, isn't it? Okay. threw a piece of glue on myself here. Alright, so now we're just going to put glue over top of the tea bag. Same way you do any kind of decoupage. And once you get it on there, spread it around good. We'll make sure the whole card gets coated, because that's what we're doing. Yes, and see, it does make it a little more transparent when you use your PVA glue solution or homemade Mod Podge, like I refer to it. And, you know, a little ink rubbed off, but just fine. Not a big deal. I'm not going to ink around these yet. I'm just going to lay them up here for them to dry. And we'll get another one here and do something with it. What are you? Oh, you're a tiny little piece of something. So you need to go in the snippet bowl. I was cleaning up all my little labels and snippets after doing my tag tabs. That's what I called them. I don't know if they have another name. I can't remember what Tony called hers, but alright. So there we go. And if you drink tea, you'll have an unending supply. If you drink tea with tea bags, you will have all of that to use to alter as many cards as you want. So if you don't drink tea, you can go to the dollar store, get a very cheap tea that you can throw the tea out and keep your tea bags. Or ask your family to save tea bags for you. If you save them after they've been used, they have a very nice brown effect to them. So it's another item besides, I think these are all coffee dye, but you can also dye with tea. Some people prefer that. Probably those who are not coffee drinkers and don't want to smell the coffee. Alrighty. So we did one with tea bags. Get our excess tea bag over here. Our next item that I am pulling out of somewhere is coffee stained paper towels. These are from where there was a coffee spill, and these were just simply picked up, dried, and held on to. So yeah, and I definitely want to use Mod Podge on this as well. So let's see, do we want to, let's see the ace and the king. What do you think? Do we chance it? Oh yeah, they'll go right across there like that. Do we chance it? No, we're not going to chance it. We're going to sand it. That'll help it to grip better. I'm going to lay these flat. And then once they are completely dry, I will put them under a heavy book or my mat or something to dry out. There we go. Make sure all of my edges are down. Okay, here we go. All these cards have a little black dots on them now and then. Must be, I don't know, I probably picked them up at the dollar store, and maybe that's why they were in the dollar store, because they were seconds or something that the cards printed with black dots on them. Because see, yep, there's another one and another one over here on these cards. Could be. I didn't have anything in my drawer that would have been marked all over them, so they had to be like this when we got them. And they were probably picked up at a yard sale, or the Dollar Tree, or who knows where. I would say that's probably the cards, mostly from yard sales. We picked up several bunches. I think it was last year or the year before. some days it's just hard to remember too far back, you know? And I've come to a point in my life where I've decided, I forget things, yes, that happens. But I also decided if I know something, somebody tells me something, I really don't need to repeat it. I don't need to necessarily remember it. I might file it away up there, but it's not right on the tip of my tongue. So I think that has been helpful, because then I can remember the things I need to remember if I don't remember the things that are useless. Okay, a little bit more here. And that's just easy for me to hold on to. I have them on daubers as well. Let's just see if we get some of this sandy bits off here. All right. Now, we only need a portion of this, so I don't know. Paper towels don't. Well, surprise, surprise. I didn't think it was going to tear very easily. Do I want to use this piece? I think I do. Yeah, I do. I do. We want one that's going to have some partial dryness. Looks like it might have gotten missed somehow. So let's put some on our cards here. Get our cloth, spread them out. I learned the first time I don't need to cover it with as much of the gluey substance. We don't need it on the back for sure, so we'll wipe that off. Okay. And just going to rub it around a bit. And I will stick them both down to my paper towel. Or stick the paper towel down to both of them. More like it. Okay. Right all the way to the edges on all my pieces. Get all the edges on this one. We'll make sure I'll go over them. That way if I didn't, I will have done it this time. Okay. Here we go. Same as before. I'm putting them close together. Then I can take this, get it where I want it, and press it down. I want to go from this edge, so you don't necessarily care if I get, and you know what? You don't even have to worry about because I'm crooked. You just simply try to make it straight. I don't know why it didn't want to stick there, but it will when we put Mod Podge on top, I think. Now let's do the ace there. And I keep these extra little scraps of bits because they're good to put behind things, like you might use a book page. These are good to use, like you might use, if anybody uses the, what's that stuff called? Cheesecloth. You can use these just like you would cheesecloth. Coat this good because this paper towel is a thicker one, and I want to make sure that I have plenty of this on here for this, and it doesn't spread very well. So knowing that, I will use my finger over here instead to spread this out. Well, these aren't even any good because they're too high up. Alright, we're just going to keep spreading here. I want this whole thing completely covered. It might not dry today, but we'll see. And if they aren't dry by the time I finish my video, I will add a clip at the end to show you how everything looks. And I'm not going to be decorating these today. I'm just doing the bases of the playing cards. And then I can come along at some point and decorate them if I choose. Decorating, I think, is a personal thing, so you just gotta find a style that works for you. And sometimes, though it might not be a style you've done before, you want to go out of your comfort zone and just play with your paper and figure out what you come up with. That's always fun to do. Just sit down with a stack of papers. And when you look at those papers, what's the first thing you think of? And then, if you don't know how to make it, look for a video online that tells you how. Okay, I think we got this good. The little squares are going to be crookedy, but I do not care. I think that looks really cool. And we got this completely covered. So, let's see what we get when we let it dry. We'll lay it to the side. It probably won't dry as fast as the tea bag ones will. And lastly, I have another item that I really want to show you here. Wipe this glue off of my mat for now. There we go. The last item is dryer sheets. I've got some that are dyed different colors here. Of course, these started out all as white, and then they were dyed. I got different colors because they were left in the dye longer. And I took these dryer sheets and shoved them down in a cup of coffee and let them sit overnight, and then took them out. And this is what I got. So, I don't know if in other countries you use fabric softener sheets of any kind. But in the US, they're made of this funky material. It's more like material. And they feel a little stiff, but they don't crunch. There's really nothing to it. And you can probably stretch it a little. And I'm going to lay them down here because I want to show you one more thing. I thought, okay, let's Mod Podge a piece of it. This made it slightly, see how it's a little stiffer than just wadding this tiny little piece up? So it is stiffer. It gave me a slightly different effect, but not enough that I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to use this to cover one of our altered playing cards. This is pieces, so it probably wouldn't work very well. I don't know if I have any more pieces here that would work. Oh, no more pieces. Those are skinny pieces. Can't use skinnies. So let me cut the end off of this, or cut a couple pieces, I think. Let's lay the card out so you can see how long I need it. Yep, there's that black dot. It's on every one of them, I'm pretty sure. You want to cut it about right here. Is that going to work? Is it going to work? Yes, it is going to work. Okay. I hope you're getting some lovely sunshine wherever you are today. I know here in southern Ohio, we are. And yesterday, it got a little humid as the day went on, but it was absolutely gorgeous day. There was a breeze going. It was 75, 78. I'm not really sure what it got up to. But it didn't get up to the point where we don't have our air on. But it didn't, even with that, it didn't get up to the point where we needed to turn it on. So we got some warmer days coming this week. So depending on what the weather looks like ahead of those, we'll probably be at some point turning it on. Okay, got a queen here and a 4. So we're going to try the dryer sheets, and then we've done 2 of each type of product that I brought. Here's a baggie of the dryer sheets that I had someone, one of my helpers saved. They helped me with my laundry, and they put them in here. And then I stuffed some of them down in the coffee cup, how I got the brown ones. So I'm keeping the dryer sheets in this little baggie. It's easier for me to have things a little bit contained here. So give me a moment, and we'll start on with gluing them down. All right, that's good. I can finish that later offline, but in the meantime, they're not all over the floor. Okay, so we're going to sand a couple here. All right, sorry about that. I was looking at my camera here to see how long. And, oh, there it is. Okay. Looking in the wrong place, I guess, because I couldn't see it. We're doing very good on time. And then this afternoon, I think I'm going to do a little bit of coffee dyeing of some small items that can be used in journals. Yeah, it's not sanded lots, but that will do. Let's use a black card. Have I done any other black? Yeah, I had that ace. It was black too, I think. Might have been ace of spades. I don't remember now. That's what happens. See, there you go. It wasn't significant at this moment for me to remember what that card was, so I just didn't do it. And I'm sanding just the least little bit before I knock it off here. You can see the little bits in the center of the card where I've sanded. They just wipe right off there. And I'm not going to worry about those little spots. They'll give a little character to the items, I guess. Here are my two pieces. Going to put Mod Podge down on my card first. And again on this one too. I think I have enough to spread around on both of these now. Probably way too much. However, these are a little thicker, so maybe they'll require a little bit more glue. That's what my brain's telling me. So let's see what. Make sure it sticks good, and then we'll cover the top. Putting the top coat on really, it goes through the stuff and really makes it adhere wonderful. Oh, look at that awesome effect. Doesn't that just look amazing? I love that. And I haven't even put the top coat on there. I had not yet done it with these dryer sheets. I didn't experiment ahead of time. I think I put one on the outside of a folder that I was decorating in one of my earlier videos, but other than that, I haven't been using them because I wanted to do this video so you guys could see, and I didn't want to use them too much before I did my video. I have once or twice, I think, or maybe just the time I did the folder. I'm not sure, the little file folder. We are at, let me think very hard here, y'all. It's very well. Let's see, today's Wednesday. Nope, today's Thursday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 97, 98, 99. Yep. I have this one, and it is day 97. For sure. So I'm just spreading this all out. I really want to press it down into my card because I want that stuff to go soak through the dryer sheet. And I don't care about wrinkles. It just adds to the uniqueness of it, I think. I need a little bit more in this upper corner. Again, I'm not worried about it getting too much on here because I want these to hold really good. I don't want them to start peeling up the moment I put them into a journal. That would not be good at all. Be very disappointing, actually. Okay, now we just got to put the top layer, the top on these. And my paper towels, I just looked over at them. Yes, they are warping, but they will not be hard to straighten out. Looks like they all are, you know, a little bit, but that's not a big deal. I'm actually putting a second coat on this one to make sure it's really on there, because it will all dry clear, and I'm hoping it will, on top of the card, give it a really cool effect. So we'll just have to see. Here we go. Let's put this aside. And actually, I don't need to put it aside too much because this is our last one. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Now I just need to let them all dry. The first two have dried, so this is what we ended up with our tea bags. And yes, I need to trim around it, but that, don't drop in the glue. That's what you end up with. And the other thing you can do, I'm not sure how well the dryer sheets would work, but you can take your sanding block and sand these edges once it's completely dry. And a lot of times, if you're like me and you're afraid you're going to cut into your card, you can sand it right down to the edge with your sanding block. And then when you ink it, that edge is really going to take the ink. So, alrighty. I'm going to let all of these dry completely, and I will see you in just a bit. I'm back. I have my cards here that I covered earlier, and I've let these dry. You don't know this, but they actually dried overnight, so these are good and dry. And I just wanted to show you what you can do with them once you... This one, I'm just going to trim the top and bottom here. This is the one I put the copy dyed gauze on. Let's go from the back because we can see it easier. Then we won't be as likely to cut into our card. You want scissors that will cut fabric here because it gets kind of like a fabric when you add that stuff to it. So we're just going to cut off the edges. And along here where I have white parts, I'm going to use my sanding disc and sand these edges and ink them good. So, which I will do that on my own. And the decoration, you can pretty well decorate these in any way that you want. Everybody has their own style of decorating. So, I'm not going to do any decorating on them today. I'm just showing you how you can alter the bases. And then you can use these for journal cards if you want. You can make writing space on the back, either with white gesso or a sticker or gluing paper down of any kind. Then you could also, if you want, use these for pockets, tucks, side pockets, tucks. And after, they do warp slightly from the Mod Podge, but they straighten out really easy. And if you put this under something to flatten it, it will straighten right back out for you. This is the one we did with a dryer sheet. I'm just checking my edges. Looks like I missed a little bit there, but I'm going to go ahead and trim it, and then I will come back and get the spots that I missed. Again, you want to have scissors that will cut material, because these do get like a material when you put the Mod Podge on them. So these are probably not my best scissors, but they happen to be the ones I had, and they're cutting it, so that's fine. You could also, I will show you on the tea bag one and the paper towel one. Don't think would do very good on this one, but we'll try the last edge of it and see if it'll work. There is another way you can get these off here besides scissors. I'm not using it all the way around here because I think it would just take up more time. And there is an edge that we need to add a little extra glue under. You don't have to get your Mod Podge out. You can use your glue stick. I prefer to use a glue that has like a spout, so either your white glue or fabric glue. If you use fabric glue to glue everything, some people do. Glue's a personal preference, and it depends on where you live. Some glues work better in some places than others because of the humidity that's involved. And also, if you are somebody that, oh, we did not, but I have another one. I have this queen laying here to the side, so let's just try sanding the edge and see if that would work here to take the edging off. Because sometimes I like to do that. It gives you a good looking edge, but I don't know how well it'll do with, let's just try it here and see what happens. With a tea bag, I'd probably be getting some sanding already, but don't think with a dryer sheet that it's gonna do too well. Okay, it's working. Just needs a little bit more sanding. Plus, it's going to give you an edge to hold the ink where you sand it. So, yeah, you could sand it off all the way around. It takes a little longer that way, but it's doable. So, we could have probably done that. I don't know that the gauze would have sanded, I'll be honest. We could do it on the paper towel and the tea bag for sure. Don't think the what's it called? Cheesecloth is going to sand very well. And all I'm doing is just folding the edge over and just holding it with my other hand and running my little sander along the edge here. Just enough so that you can sand the edge of your papers and end up taking it off there. You'd think a paper towel would be very easy to sand, but that Mod Podge has really given that paper towel along those edges some strength. So it would take longer to, I think, sand this off than if you just cut it. And I don't think it's going to give it any better of a look, honestly. Okay, so there it started to come off there. And to me, it looks so different than if I had just taken my scissors and cut it here. It would give you a little area for your ink to go. So let's just try these two that I have taken the edges off and see how they hold ink. Okay, we got this one here. I'll get my ink dauber and my ink, and we'll see how these hold ink. And then we'll move on to the last two. So just take us a minute here. Get my ink dauber daubed up here. Ready to go. Still got a piece of washi tape on there for something I previously did apparently. So we'll pop that down there on my trash pile stuff. And even these little pieces here that you take off, you can hold on to these because these make really cool backings behind your pieces of ephemera. So don't throw away, I mean, I throw away tiny pieces, but don't throw away these skinny pieces that you really aren't sure you would use anywhere. So I hold on to them and use them behind things. All right, so let's see how it inks. That's what we were doing. Okay, where I sanded, it's going to take some ink good. This one just has a few places here, and I haven't sanded it, so you can see it takes ink a little differently. So sanding it does help it to pick up the ink well along your edges. Let's see how it does on this one. I think this looks like maybe I sanded this area. I could not tell you for certain, but there we go. It's inking up pretty good. The sanding will help the cards that have that clear coating, and when you sand that, take some of that off. I did sand them a bit, remember, before I glued the stuff down, but that is the one that we have with the dryer, and it's see-through. Isn't that just the coolest thing? And you can come along and put things on it if you want, or you can simply use it like it is in the journal. So that looks super cool. This is the paper towel one. So if we had all our edges cut, that's how it would look. And I inked across the top, so you can see how it holds the ink there. This one, we said we were going to do some sanding along these edges. So let's just do a quick sand on this edge and see if we can get this edge to take some ink, because that's what we want. We want the edges to take some ink. And that's right to the edge, but I'm sanding over top of that gauze anyway. And then let's see here what happens when we bring our dauber in. Oh yeah, if you sand, see how that's picking up that ink? And I don't think it'll rub off then, because it'll soak down into the card itself and not just lay on top of the clear. So it will take the ink when you do that. All right, this one is our cheesecloth. Now anywhere it doesn't stick, you can come back in and squeeze in a little bit of your glue. The cheesecloth, I had a hard time spreading it, as I recall, when I was putting it down. I happened to have a piece of cheesecloth and a piece of gauze on my desk that I think I did those off camera. We just used the main items, the tea bags, the dryer sheets, and what else? Paper towel were the ones I did on camera. The gauze and the cheesecloth were just a little added extra that I threw in because they were laying here on my desk. So, forgot that for a minute there. Was thinking I did them on film, but I did not. I got a big hunk of glue in this area where my gauze kind of pulled it up a little bit. So, just, again, I'm probably better off to cut from the back side. So let me cut two sides of this, and then you'll be able to see pretty much. That way you don't have to wait for me to cut the whole thing. Okay. Well, again, I'm keeping these little tiny pieces of cheesecloth because they're perfect to put behind little people and things. You don't need a large amount. All right, so we got our top pretty well cut. I missed the spot. Let's see if it'll stand anywhere I missed that spot. And I really don't even mind that in some places it's not completely glued down, because it gives it that coming up, or I mean, it looks like it's coming up and it's worn and that kind of thing. It gives it that kind of a worn look. So you can just come back in and maybe sand a bit, see what you get. Doesn't really like sanding much, but it does kind of, see how it did on this? It kind of ruffled up the edges. So that looks pretty cool. Let's see what happens when we put some ink to it. And you could leave those hanging. I'm not, because it'll keep me worrying about it later on, and I'll just come right back to it and cut those off there. So might as well do it while I'm here. And then I'm getting some ink on the edges here. Yeah, your cheesecloth's going to pick up a lot of ink. So I'm really rubbing across there because I want it to be dark along the edges and a little bit extra on my corners here. So we've got the cheesecloth. And again, you can leave it hanging like here or come back and take that bit off. And then the last one we did on camera and the last one we're going to do today is the tea bag. And the tea bag, I know, will sand very well. Oh, we want to sand it before we ink it, Miriam. Not ink it and then sand it. But we could try that. We want to get the excess tea bag off first. So we're going to just sand along the edges, and that not hardly any sanding at all takes the tea bag right off there. Let's see. Yes, I had rounded corners here, so we're going to go around my corner. There we go. And get this bit. Okay. And let's see how it holds ink. So get in your kitchen. Get some, when you wipe up coffee with your paper towels, if you spill coffee, hold on to those. Or use some paper towels to wipe off your mat now and then, get them inked up good. Or just simply copy dye some paper towels so you can use them in your journals. Same thing with save your used tea bags. Save your dryer sheets. Copy dye them, and then you get some really cool looking pieces that you can use to alter things or to simply use as layers and backgrounds in your collages or in your decorating. So you get your stuff out, give it a try, see what you think. And I hope you enjoyed my altered playing cards. Bye-bye for now, and I will see you in my next video.